Good afternoon, everyone. We're back amongst the living. I missed you guys last week. I'm just gonna check here while we wait for some people to hop on to see if I'm showing up in the group. And there we are. All right. So welcome to the Monday Reset here in the Real Estate Ramp Up group. And today's topic, I try to pre-plan all my topics, what I'm going to talk about, but sometimes I'll see people post different things or questions in different groups, or people will ask me questions, and it just sort of prompts me to address the topic that, people are asking. And so today's topic actually came from a conversation that was happening in another group. I don't remember which group it was, but we were talking about building a database in the group and, just kind of like where to start as a new agent. Like if your phone died today, would your business be dead too? If I asked you for a list of 200 people who you know are, are in your local community, would you be able to list 200 names? So, the person that was questioning, that had this question was like, I know you talk all the time about building a database, and, to her point, she was like, I just feel overwhelmed. I don't know where to start. What does that even mean? And so really, it just kind of made me start thinking that maybe I'm taking for granted that people know when I say build a database, that people know what that means. And so I just got thinking, if I had to start my business over from scratch today, like what are the steps you should take? So anyway, that's kind of where today's topic came from today. And we always talk all the time about how to build a database, but nobody really ever talks about like, how do you do that? Or where do you meet the people to put in the database? Like, that's the biggest piece of it, because we all know a database can be a CRM, it can be a Excel spreadsheet, it can be a box, it can be a shoebox with names. And if you don't know where to find the people to put in it, that's what makes it challenging. So basically, we all know no database, no pipeline, period. You're starting from scratch. So most agents think that they have a lead problem when really they have a database problem. Like there's no people in the database. So, when you don't have people to talk to, there's that's inconsistent income. It's the feast or famine cycle, or the real estate roller coaster that people refer. It's posting and hoping, like hope is not a strategy. And then, sometimes you feel busy, but nothing's closing. In fact, I had a one-on-one coaching meeting with one of my one-on-one clients earlier today. And that was one thing he said, is that I'm busy, but I'm not having closings. And so there's a definite difference between being busy and actually closing deals. So your database is your bank account. If you're not depositing into the bank account on a daily basis, there's nothing to withdraw. You're not gonna get business. There's no withdrawals coming out of it. So today we're going to talk about database for dummies. We're going to be like step 1, step 2, step 3, no fancy tech, no complicated funnels. It's just what actually works. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. So what a database actually is. It's not just leads. It's not just serious buyers. It's humans. It's human beings. And all the time I say we're humans first, realtors second. Like that's how we need to show up. And I think I had a conversation with my coach once about leads, just the word in general, leads. Leads are human beings. And in the real estate business, we all the time talk about a lead, like the quality of a lead. You know, is it a good lead? Is it a bad lead? We're judging the leads, you know. Did it come from this source or that source? And it drives me insane because I remember when I had my team of 12, my partner and I were like, we need to figure out how to not tell our buyer's agent where the lead came from, because they were judging it based on where it came from. If it came from realtor.com, it was crap. If it came from Zillow, it was crap. These are human beings. So we have to, first of all, change our mindset around them to be like, yeah, this is a human. This is not a lead. So we have to treat them like a human. So that's the first thing that I think we all need to change our mindset. Like, it's not your database isn't a CRM filled with strangers. It's a list of relationships, or what we should be growing as an actual relationship. Because if they don't know you, like, what's the point of having them in your database? If you met them in an open house, 20 years ago, the chance of me doing business with them is probably going to be pretty slim if I've never really connected with them on a one-on-one level. So, all right, so we're going to talk about first who goes in it. It's kind of like the Christmas card list or the wedding invite plus more, because, that is the first thing that when we used to onboard a new agent onto our team, the first thing we would have them do is write out their list of 200. And, list of 200 means you're starting with those people that are in your phone. Like, I can't show you because I'm using my phone to record this, but how many, go to your phone. How many people do you actually have in your phone that aren't agents? That's what you should start with, because you have their number. You can text them. So you need to start out by just identifying, who's on that Christmas card list, who's on that wedding invite. If you were getting married tomorrow, who would you be inviting? That's who you should start with. Then you go an extra layer, even deeper, to be like, anyone that I always remind people, like, don't forget people who you are doing business with. So like the lady that cuts my hair, she's in my database. In fact, I get a ton of referrals from her every year, thankfully. Our dentist, our doctor, like, who else are you interacting with on a daily basis who you're paying for a service? Those people should all be in your database. So, all right, so that's family, friends, old coworkers, vendors, social media contacts, past clients, open house sign-ins, parents from school, everyone. Well, pretty much everyone you come into contact with. If they know your name and you have their contact information, they should be in your database. You know more people than you think, you just haven't claimed them yet. So keep that in mind. So step by step, if I'm starting over today, if I got my license yesterday and had nothing but my phone, here's what I would do. Step one would be that brain dump that I just talked about. I would open my notes app or grab a piece of paper. I'm a paper girl. So I would grab a cup of coffee and I would sit down on a comfy chair and I would just start making a list. Because once you have that, then you're going to take that next step and you're going to decide, how to touch them, when to touch them, and all of that. But without the list, you have to start somewhere. So do the brain dump, write every single name you can think of. Do not overthink it. And this is why when I talk about the brain dump, I'm not telling you to sit in front of a computer. Because sometimes, when you're sitting in front of a computer and you're typing them in as you go, the brain dump is where you take all the information from your brain and dump it onto the paper. That's creative time that you're spending and people are just coming to mind and you're writing them down. So I would say when you're doing your brain dump, definitely just jot the names down. Everyone you think about. The goal is you should have a minimum of 100 names. So that, like I said, when we were onboarding new agents, it's like You don't do anything until you turn in a list of 200 names that we can import into our database. Okay? So, because here's the thing. As the team leader and the rainmaker of the team, I have to make sure the agents on my team are successful. And if we're, as a team, not marketing to their sphere of influence, who are they going to talk to? Yes, they're going to get leads from the team, but we want to make sure that we're also marketing so that they can be successful with their own database. So, anyway, some prompts like, who'd you go to high school with? Who did you work with before real estate? Who lives in your neighborhood? Who do you see at church or the gym? Who do you interact with online regularly? Messy and started beats perfect and never. I love that saying because my coach tells me all the time, Jill, like, you just need to take messy and perfect action to move your business forward every single day. So, just be messy about it. Just include everyone you can think of. And then you're going to put them somewhere organized. And as I said, this does not have to be, I know you guys think, oh, what CRM does everyone use? Which software, whatever. I mean, it can be a shoebox. If that's what works for you and that's all you have right now, you at least need that so that everything can be organized. So you can use an Excel spreadsheet or a Google sheet or any kind of basic CRM. So it just needs to have columns: name, phone number, email, address, and then notes. If that's all you start with, that's great. That's all you need. You don't need 47 tags or a color-coded masterpiece. You just need organized names. Okay, so you're going to add, the next step is you're going to add 5 people per day, every single day. You're going to find 5 new people. They can come from social media, an open house, a new conversation, an event that you had or an event that you went to. It can be a referral. So if you do the math, 5 per day at the end of the week is 25 per week, 100 per month, 1,200 a year. After 1 year of doing 5 per day, you'd have 1,200 people in your database. So think about how doable that sounds, rather than like if I just say, okay, you're going to put 1,200 people in your database this year. You're going to be like, well, where are the people going to come from? How am I going to find them? So we're going to talk about that as we go. So, my whole point is you don't need 10,000 followers. You need 300 to 500 people who actually know, like, and trust you. Okay. All right. So the next step is we're going to feed the database daily. So the database you don't talk to is dead weight, like it's pointless. If you're not going to talk to the people, or what I call touch them regularly, they're not going to know who you are. So it's kind of pointless. It's a waste of your time. So the structure here is what matters. And this is why I teach the daily revenue routine. And I'm so passionate about that, because it's a simple, easy daily plan that helps you stay in touch with your people. Agents don't fail because they don't know enough. They fail because they don't have structure in their life. This is why I created the daily revenue routine, because one day my coach just said to me, like, because I was complaining all the time. Like, my agents, I've taught them what to do. I've taught them who to call. I've taught them what to say. I've taught them how to do it. Like, why are they not successful? And he's like, it needs to be stupid simple. Do you supply them with a list every single day when they show up to the office? Like, do they know what to do every single day when they sit down at their desk? Like, stupid simple, not having to think, whatever. And I'm like, no, not really. I've taught them all what to do, but sometimes what ends up happening, and this still happens to me, if I kind of waver and I'm not using my daily revenue routine like I should be, there's some days I show up at my desk and I'm like, oh, who do I feel like calling today? Do I feel like calling my women from my St. Croix Valley Girls networking group? Do I feel like, calling my past clients? Like, who do I feel like calling? and it's noon before I've done any work. This is why that daily revenue routine is so important, because like if you're following the plan that you have scheduled for yourself, you just show up and you know exactly who you're supposed to call because it's on your plan. You don't have to think about it. Like it takes the decision fatigue away. And decision fatigue is a real thing. I mean, it shows up in your life like multiple different ways. So anyway, this is what I love about the daily revenue routine. Like it's non-negotiable. It makes it non-negotiable. You don't have to pretend that you don't know who to call. It's just there. It's showing up. So before you're doing anything, you're going to add those 5 people to your database. And, you know, you ask like, well, where do I find those 5 people? Well, are they someone you just met in an open house over the weekend? Could those be your 5 people? You could door knock. You could cold call. There's multiple reasons for cold calling. If you are going to cold call, make sure you're doing it in a TCPA compliant way. But the idea is you need to be out meeting people in your community. And I know if you guys have been following me for any length of time, like I'm not the cold caller. I'm not the door knocker. That's not how I like to do my business. Yes, there was a time in my life when I had, you know, a team of 12. I did need to cold call because I wasn't getting enough leads from my sphere of influence. But you know, the way I run my business now is like, I want to attract business to me. I don't want to have to cold call or door knock. That's just not my thing anymore. So I focus on my social media and having conversation there. I think about, my events that I either have or I attend, because when you're at an event, you're going to come home with a stack of business cards. Like I have a stack sitting right here on my desk from an event that I went to. And if you do this the right way, these events are future relationships. And so those are your 5 people. And, you know, again, if you'd followed me for any length of time, you know, like I'm hyper local. Everything I do is hyper local. I connect with other business owners. I have my own networking group for business owners. And I'm not saying if you're new that you're ready for that step. That this doesn't mean you have to, like Stephanie has to go start a networking group. You don't have to do that. If you want to do that, I will help you. I can help you do that. But there are so many networking events. When I started St. Croix Valley Girls 18 years ago, there was like one B&I group in town. And so it was different then. Now, in any community you go to, you can probably find 5 networking groups this week to go attend. The idea is, it's pointless to go to the networking event if you're not going to do the follow-up after. I don't know if you can see behind me. There's behind my lamp up there, there's a little frame that says Jill's Java House. And when I got into real estate in 2008, they called me the coffee queen. And all my coworkers made fun of me because my play was I had my St. Croix Valley Girls meeting. Anyone new that was there got a handwritten note that said, "Hey, Stephanie, it was really great meeting you at the St. Croix Valley Girls meeting yesterday. I'd love to grab coffee with you and hear more about your business." Stephanie and I, you know, when she got the note, she would message me or email me. Back then, texting wasn't a big thing. And she would say, "Yeah, I got your note. I would love to go have coffee with you." We would go back and forth. Then we go meet for coffee. And so once you have the coffee appointment with someone, like now they trust you, right? They know, you know, I've been married X number of years. I live in the area. I have 2 boys. we get to know each other and we become friends. And that's just, it's that easy, you guys. It's having coffee. And, you know, I used to get teased relentlessly about being the coffee queen. And it's like, this was 2008. I got into the business. Like, agents were leaving the business left and right. And here I am, slowly but surely. I'm not saying this play is the overnight, you're going to get business overnight. For me, it was consistent. I did it every single day. I did the same thing, the same play, just went and had coffee, I went to Dunn Brothers, which was across the street from my office. I got to know the owners. A couple of years later, I ended up listing their house for them. But consistency, it's like the tortoise and the hare. I was the tortoise. They were the hare. Within 12, probably 14 or 15 months, I was out producing every single one of them that teased me. They were constantly giving me shit. Before I knew it, I was out producing them. So this is the thing. When you question, like, who are the people? You just go find the people. Like, if you need to find people, go to an event. Do a post in a community group that says, hey, I'm looking to connect with more people in the Hudson community. Who wants to go, you know, let's get a group of ladies together and go have lunch. Who's interested? I'm starting a new thing in my area called Women on the Go. It was started by Susie Lawson, who's actually a part of this group, and it's brilliant. Like, you know, it's micro events. And it's, what I love about it is it's social. Everything is built around social first, real estate second. If you show up and you're constantly like, oh, who do you know that's going to buy or sell real estate? Do you have a referral for me today? Who do you know that's moving? Like, that just grosses people out. I don't want to do that to people. Like, go be social. Just meet people. Those are your people that go in your database. And, you know, the whole coffee play, and this is why I love partnering with other business owners, they're looking to do the same thing I am. So if I call Stephanie and, you know, I say, hey, you know, I'd love to get to know you better and hear more about your business. You know, do you want to grab a coffee? Stephanie's going to be like, yeah, I need to grow my financial planning business as well. I'd love to, you know, go, because the business owners especially, they struggle with exactly what we struggle with as realtors. So they're looking to do what we're looking to do as well. And anyway, so those are the people. Going back to the picture hanging on my wall. One day I was at a coffee appointment. I came back and they had done a little clip art thing on a piece of paper and they taped it up in my cubicle. And I thought, you know what? I'm framing this thing because you're right. You can make fun of me all you want, but I'm going to be kicking your ass. And I put a nice pretty frame on it, and that picture has gone every single office I've moved to. It's a constant reminder to me that I built a super strong, successful real estate business in a time when most people were leaving the business by having coffee. Like, what's not to love? As a realtor, life is one big long coffee appointment or tea or whatever it is, your drink of choice, wine, whatever. But I did coffee because coffee's my jam, and I didn't want to work nights and weekends and whatever. So I just went to coffee with people. And of course, you know, with St. Croix Valley Girls, it gave me a really easy way to do it because I had my own group. But if I didn't have a group and I was starting today, and I couldn't afford to join the chamber, every chamber has networking events that you can go to as a non-chamber member. You probably have to pay something for them, but there's networking events on every street corner in every town. So that's where I would start. Those are your people that you're going to be adding into your database. The other thing that I think I would do that I didn't do, because of course 20 years ago or 18 years ago we didn't have social media, Now, if I were starting in today's world, I would go to every single retail store in your town, meet the owner, ask them if you can take pictures of their store and post on social media. Like, that's providing value to people. So the key here, you guys, is like finding a way to show up when you're meeting new people by offering them value, right? Like, you don't want to show up and be like, hey, I'm going to walk in your store. I'm going to say, I'm a local real estate agent. Who do you know that needs to buy or sell? Like, they're not going to want to talk to me. But if I walk in and I say, hey, I have this great community group called We Are Hudson on Facebook. It has X amount of members in it. I would love to feature your store. Or like in my newsletter, I feature a different retail store or retail establishment in my newsletter. So it makes it really easy for me to call a business owner and be like, hey, I don't know you. I'm a local real estate agent. I was in your store the other day and it's super cute. Can I feature you in my newsletter? Like, who is going to say no to that? No one is going to say no to that opportunity. So these are the conversations that you're going to have to put in your database. And anyone can do this. I know there's a few of you in the group that have specifically reached out to me because you moved to new states and you don't know anyone in your state. Like, this is how you meet people. You just get out in your community and talk to people. All right. So remember, revenue is always in first position. And meeting new people is taking steps toward earning revenue. And administrative tasks have to be second. Like, again, this is why I have a stack of cards sitting on my desk. Like, I've already sent them a handwritten note. I already have coffee set up with them, but like, eventually they'll get into my database. But this is what I'm saying. The part that's critical is that you're getting out and meeting the people. The administrative stuff can come after. If it doesn't create revenue for you in the beginning, especially if you're newer, it has to wait till later. Like, one of the things that I teach all the time is like, don't get ready to get ready. It doesn't matter if you don't have a business card. It doesn't matter if you don't have a fancy website. It doesn't even matter if you have a CRM. You just need to get out there and start creating relationships. Being busy does not pay you. So remember that. All right. So daily conversations, going back to the daily conversations, 5 reach outs per day. And, again, times have changed. 20 years ago, like, I couldn't text people. I couldn't send them a DM on Instagram or Facebook. I had to actually call people. Well, now we don't even, I don't know if you watched the interview video that I did with Kim Parsons. If you didn't, you should go back and watch that. Kim sold 25 properties last year. She never even picked up the phone. Like, she doesn't call her people. So this is what I'm saying. Like, there's so many ways to do this that are not icky. Like, back in the old days, like, I had to actually call people. I don't have to do that anymore if I don't want to. I'm just using Facebook DMs or I'm texting people. However you want to do it, as long as you're reaching out to 5 people a day. And, one of the things that I actually do quite often on social media is if I've been friends with someone on social media for quite a while and we've interacted quite a bit, I'll just say to them, hey, we've been friends on social media for so long. I'm making it my mission this year to have coffee with more of my social media friends. Are you interested in grabbing a coffee with me? Do you know how many like coffee / lunch, like whatever appointments I've had with people who I know are local to my community that I don't know personally? I've never met them. Like, that's who you have the coffee with. That's who you're reaching out to. It's not weird anymore to reach out to someone that you've been interacting with on social media and asking them to meet you in person. It's not stalkerish or weird. I don't personally think. All right. So your daily conversations, they're going to be 5 reach outs. They can be text messages, calls, voice memos. The voice memo is like my new favorite shiny object because they hear your voice. They're hearing from you versus a text. I just love it because you get a message. It's the next best thing to actually having a one-on-one conversation with them. And then meaningful social engagement on social media. Okay. All right. So some scripts. What to say? Like, what do you say? Hey, Stephanie, random question. How's life? We haven't caught up in forever. That's a script. That could be sent as a text message, a voice memo, a Facebook message. It could be any of those things. So here's the thing. I don't ever reach out and be like, hey, quick question. Do you know anyone buying or selling, anytime in the next year? Like, I just don't do that sort of outreach. All of my outreach is going to start from a social beginning. Like, it's never, the conversation always moves to real estate. So when you're thinking about what to say to them, I don't even ever bring real estate up, unless they bring it up. They always ask about it. How's the market? Or, they're just always going to ask about it. So I don't ever actually call people and be, I know Brian Buffini, I talk about this a lot. Brian Buffini has that line. If you're having a conversation with someone like, hey, Stephanie, I'm picking on you, Stephanie. But it's like, okay, I'm never going to end the conversation with Stephanie with that line that says, oh, don't forget, Stephanie, I'm never too busy for your referrals. Like, I'm just not going to say that. That's not my style. Stephanie knows I'm in real estate. Like, you guys can do that if you want, if you feel comfortable. But for me, it's kind of like saying, Stephanie, you look beautiful today, but the but. It negates every single thing in that compliment that I just gave Stephanie. So if I have a great conversation with Stephanie and, we're ready to hang up the phone and I throw in that line that says, hey, Stephanie, who do you know that might need to buy or sell a home this year? Is that really my call? Is that like really a genuine call to Stephanie to be like, hey, Stephanie, how's it going? How's life treating you? Or did I really just call because I wanted to find out if Stephanie had anyone that was going to buy or sell real estate? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, is it genuine or is it not genuine? And to me, like, again, Stephanie knows I'm a realtor. She would have said, hey, Jill, I think I know who's going to buy or sell. Like, she would have told me. So I don't know, that's just my style, and you guys can do what you want. I know Brian Buffini's amazing. I'm not saying he's not, but that's just not my style. I know a lot of people that actually call people and just come right out and ask for a referral or say, hey, this is a business call. I'm calling today to see, who you might know that's going to buy or sell real estate. Like, that's not a call I will ever make. And I've never made that call in 18 years. All right. So weekly visibility. You're going to post on social media consistently because that's going to give you your people to interact with. You're going to show up in your stories. You're going to show that you're a busy realtor. You can post, here's what's happening in my day. If you're out showing a property, you can do a story. You're constantly reminding people what you do. If they forget you're in real estate, like, that's our fault. That's my fault. If my people forget that I'm in real estate, it's like, shame on me. I am not doing a good enough job of staying in front of them enough so that they don't forget about me. Okay. All right. Monthly touches. So again, for those of you that, you know, a lot of people have read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, or what we call the Red Book, the Keller Williams Red Book. In there, that book is like probably over 20 years old now. In there, they talk about 33 or 36 touches a year. That's just not enough anymore. Like if you're only doing 33 touches a year, it's probably not enough. You would be getting more business if you were doing more touches. I actually created a 56 touch plan that's super simple. If you want a copy of it, comment below 56 touch and I'll shoot it to you in the DM after we're done with the call. All right, so minimum 56 should be the minimum. And, you know, if you think about how easy that could be, because if you send a newsletter every single month, that's 12 touches right there. Like you're well on your way. Some people send newsletters twice a month. You know, if you're having an event, you're going to send lots of invites. You're going to send lots of correspondence for that. If you do anything for the holidays, if you're sending Christmas cards, you could send 4 handwritten notes a year. Like getting 56 touches is not a difficult task. Like it's easy to get 56 touches. So it can be a market update. It could be you're doing client pop-bys. I know, as I mentioned earlier, Kim Parsons talked in her video about she regularly does pop-bys for people. Community events is a good one. So again, I always think of it this way. If someone is, like I see Michelle just mentioned the 56 touch. So if Michelle is someone I know and I'm wanting to stay top of mind with her, I need to ask myself, if I'm Michelle, what would I want to get that's worth either reading or, do you know what I'm saying? Like, do our people really want us calling them, asking them for a referral? They don't. I can guarantee you they don't. Now, if I called them and I said, hey, Michelle, I'm building a vendor guide to offer for my, you know, real estate clients and my referral partners. I just am looking to find the very best service providers in all of Hudson, Wisconsin. Who's your favorite financial planner? That type of call is not going to probably bother Michelle. Because, like, you know, I'm asking her, I called her for a specific reason. I reminded her that I'm real estate. I'm letting her know I'm creating this guide that I'm going to use, and I'm asking for her opinion. People want to help you. They want to give their opinions on stuff. And it's a great reason to call her. Am I adding value to her life? No. But I'm adding more value than if I just randomly called her and was like, hey, Michelle, who do you know that's going to buy or sell a home this year? Like, do you see the difference there? It could even be, you know, if you're doing the home equity report, we actually use a software called Fellow, and I can look in my database, and if I have Michelle's address in my database, I could look up her name and her propensity score. It tells me like who in my database is most likely to sell next. I could call Michelle and be like, hey, Michelle, I see you have $200,000 of equity in your home. Have you ever thought about, you know, pulling some equity out to buy an investment property? Or do you see what I'm saying? Like the conversation is different. Because Michelle might not have known that she had that much equity. She might then say, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I had that much equity. Maybe I should do that kitchen remodel that I've been wanting to do for 5 years now. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you have to find ways to get in front of your people that are going to make them pick up the phone the next time you call. So that's where you got to ask yourself the question, is what I'm sending Stephanie valuable? If it's not, like, why would Stephanie want to be in a relationship with me? Right? And there's so many different ways to provide value, like, other than just showing up as the spammy realtor. So just think about that. I mean, I ask myself that question all the time, because whether I'm coaching you guys, I'm meeting with a seller, I'm putting a new vendor in my vendor guide, I'm looking for new coupon collaborators, I always ask myself, like, how do I create value for this other person? Because when you're coming from a serving mindset instead of a selling mindset, you show up with a different energy. And people just see that you do business a different way. And that's when, I mean, think of it this way. Think of Amazon, or one of them that I like to talk about all the time on my phone. I live in Hudson, Wisconsin, and we're like, I don't know, probably 20 minutes to the nearest like shopping mall. But we have Maurice's here in town. And so, usually if I'm in a bind and like I need something quick, I run to Maurice's. And I swear to God, I get 40 texts a day from Maurice's showing me like what the next deal is. And you guys, every single day I look at my phone and I see those text messages they send me, and I'm like, oh, I'm unsubscribe. And I cannot get myself to push the button to unsubscribe. Because I'm like, someday I'm going to need a Maurice's coupon. I'm going to have an emergency situation where I need a dress for an event or whatever, and I'm not going to have a coupon. That is creating FOMO. That is what we need to do for our people. I need Stephanie to create something that is so valuable that I'm not going to unsubscribe. Like, I do a lot of free community events. We do a free movie event. We do a free gingerbread event at Christmas time where the community can bring their kids and make a free gingerbread house. We do our Bubbles and Bobbles jewelry swap event. I'm constantly doing events and little micro events and whatever. Like, why would anyone want to unsubscribe from my stuff? They might miss something fun. And I send out free cookie and free pizza coupons. Like, nobody's going to unsubscribe from my stuff. It's just not going to happen. So that's what you need to ask yourself, is the stuff that you're sending good enough so that they won't unsubscribe? So that's something to think about. Now, when you're segmenting your database as you're growing it, because remember, like I said, if you're adding 5 a day, by the end of the year, you're going to have 1,200 people in it. They're not all created equal. So I have my database segmented into 3 buckets. Bucket A is 25 to 50, maybe 100 of the strongest referral partners, right? Those are people that are my raving fans. They get treated differently than the B people. The B people are solid sphere of influence. They know me. We might be friends, and maybe they refer me a deal a year, but they don't always, they're not sending me multiple deals a year. Okay. Then you have bucket number 3, which is like the wider circle. It could be your social connections. It could be people, like, they all know who you are and what you do, but they're not referring you business on a regular basis. So the goal here is to take like a C person and move them to the B bucket by what you're sending them, by you're taking that relationship and you're like, okay, how do I move Michelle from the C bucket to the A bucket? Like, how do I get Michelle to start sending me more referrals? Well, the first way to do it is when Michelle does refer me, I do like right away, immediately, same day that Michelle gives me a referral, she's going to get a thank you either a thank you card with a coffee card in it. She's going to get cookies from the local bakery, something. Michelle is going to get something within a couple days of giving me the referral. I do not wait to find out, is the referral that Michelle gave me going to actually buy? Who cares? You need to send Michelle the thank you the minute she sends you the referral, because you're rewarding them for that behavior of sending you the referral. So keep that in mind. And if you don't have money to send a coffee card or cookies from the bakery, just send a handwritten note, because nobody does that anymore. And so that's how I get my people to refer me more than one time a year, because the first time they refer me, they get a gift in the mail. And they're like, oh my gosh, Jill just sent me a gift. I'm going to start watching for opportunity to refer her more, because I'll get another gift. And, you know, when I say gift, it's like I said, it's not like $100 gift card to a restaurant. I mean, I might do that for someone who, you know, someone who's really a raving fan. Most of my true raving fans that do that multiple a year, I do dinner. I've become like friends with them, and we actually do dinner with them, because truly you're building a relationship. And, you know, if my friend Kayla, who started out as a Zillow lead, who's now one of my best friends and bought her house probably maybe 6 years ago. I mean, she worked with my husband. She didn't even work with me. My husband's on my team. She didn't even work with me. And after she started coming to all my events, of course, we met, became fast friends, and then we started meeting without my husband. And then now we do dinner as a foursome like every couple months. So, you know, that is the thing. You know, the whole goal is, especially with your raving fans, is like, how do you take them from being a past client to you're having dinner with them and their husband? Do you know what I'm saying? So she gives me multiple deals a year, usually 5 or 6 referral deals a year. So, you know, that's where, when you're putting your database together, you're segmenting it, and you're not treating everyone the same. Like my database, if you're a St. Croix Valley Girls member, your touch system is completely different than my past client Kayla's. Like, they're getting totally different stuff. So again, when we're talking about your database, you know, person 1 that you put in might have a totally different touch plan than person 352 that you put in your database. You know what I mean? It depends on who they are and how much of your attention. I guess the best way to describe this is, how much of my attention do they deserve? That's the question. And if they're a raving fan, they deserve a lot of my attention. If they are St. Croix Valley Girls, they still get a lot of my attention. It's just in a different way. So it's, you know, you have to kind of think about, when you're putting your 56 touch plan together, to be like, well, this person is a part of this group, so they should get these touches, where this person is in a different group, so maybe they don't get all the special stuff. Maybe they're only getting a part of it. So that's sort of how I segment my database into buckets. So it's basically access to me. It's just like my coaching clients, my one-on-one coaching clients. They can text me any old time, 24 hours, and they know they're going to get a response if they're a one-on-one coaching client. Now, my group coaching insiders, they're pretty much have access to me as well. But if you're just in the group consuming my free content that I'm putting out, I just can't give you my time, because I have other things that need my attention. So it's no different than that. That's the best probably way to explain it, is that you're prioritizing the people that most likely are going to move the needle forward, right? I only have so many hours in the day. So if I'm just like at everyone's beck and call, you're never going to get your stuff done. Like, you have to segment your database in that way to be like, well, who deserves my attention and who doesn't? All right, so this is what I want you guys to do this week. You're going to do your brain dump and get your 100 names on your list. That's day 1. Day 2 is you're going to enter them into something, whether it's a spreadsheet, a Google form, a CRM, whatever. Day 3, you're going to reach out to 10 people in any way, shape, or form that you want to. Day 4 through 7, you're going to add 5 new names daily. And then you're going to complete your daily revenue routine. I will also, if you put 56 touch on this post, I'll also send you the daily revenue routine as well. So you can see what I'm talking about. I have a template. It's a blank template you can fill in on your own, and then I'll send you a sample of one that's filled out so you understand that. All right, so it's 5 additions to the database every day, 5 conversations, 1 visibility touch. That's it. It's non-negotiable. Like literally that should be your only job. And don't wait till it's perfect. Just start adding names and go from there. Like that's the easiest way to do it. If the only time you call, I mean, if you think about it, if the only time you call someone is when you're broke, people can feel that. So this is where I say, you know, it goes all back to relationship building. It's like, you know, you need to actually be moving your relationship forward with a person, because that's how you build that level of trust where, you know, again, I have raving fans that like if they find out one of their friends is using a different realtor, they'll be like frightened for them, and no, you have to use McNamee Team. There is no other realtor choice, you know? So, anyway, it's, you don't need more leads. You just need better relationships, and you need to organize the relationships that you have around you. Like this is the whole point of having a database, and you don't need 12,000 people in your database to be successful. Like the more people that you have in your database, the harder it is to touch everyone and make sure that everyone is getting the attention they deserve. So anyway, yeah, so that's what I have for you today. Before we log off, does anyone have any questions? Let me just go back to the group here and see if anyone has any questions. Okay. All right. Michelle says, yes, same with me. I can't click the button. I'm assuming you're talking about unsubscribing from Amazon or Maurice's, just like me. All right. Okay. Well, I hope you guys got value from today's live. This is what we work on every day inside our Insiders group coaching. So if you're interested in more information on how that works, send me a DM or comment below. I'll send you the details on that. And you guys just do your homework this week. Get those names on paper and start building your database. Have a great week, everyone.